is your Frontier Opening Bell. This Monday is the final Monday, taking you straight to the end of the week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the start of a new trading week. And of course, effectively, till the end of the quarter and the end of September. So let's look through, and you can see the numbers, a wreck of stock markets around the world as central banks around the world raise interest rates, and Frontier African equities market were not spared on Friday, even with the entire inflation scenario. The Nigerian stock market finished sluggish on Friday, with the sell-off coming through across the major segments of the market, with the exception of the banking space. The BRVM down by 0.5%. The Egyptian market started the week on Friday 0.38%. The NSE in Nairobi down by 31%, and the biggest securities exchange on the continent, the GSE, down by 0.6%. This morning, the wreck that the US dollar is causing other currencies and the rest of the market is playing up. Commodity prices are flattish in the negative territory, broadly speaking, across the board. London Brent crude was trading below $88 a barrel, printing 84 early today. The US West Texas Intermediate was trading lower at 77, the lowest since the start of the war in Ukraine. So the dollar is the king right now, pounding both the sterling and the euro and a few other currencies. The dollar index early this morning was reading around 113 on the DXY. Keep all those numbers in mind. Dollar is on its throne right now and is wrecking a number of assets, from stocks to commodities, including the crypto family, Bitcoin, and the rest of them. So let's just take it all on board as we start. This week is going to be a raft of interest rate decisions by a number of central banks across the continent today, starting with Nigeria today, and Angola is releasing its monetary policy rate later today. The two-day meeting for Nigeria's MPC starts today, decisions later tomorrow. Let's get into the East African community and get a sense of how we're starting some of the biggest headlines, because Kenya's interest rate decision is on tap for Thursday, the 29th. One of the those who will be delivering their interest rates, the MPC Njoroge and the rest of his team, is expected to raise rates as well, along with the rest of the other central banks, most central banks on the continent. Egypt, however, decided to leave interest rates unchanged on Friday, while raising what you call the cash reserve ratio, the CRR, from 14% to 18%, trying to moderate liquidity in local currency within the local economy. Nigerian investors have sued over $1 million float-away cash, which is frozen by the authorities in Kenya, while East Africa's exporters are bracing for an impact because the Suez Canal in Egypt has raised its tolls. In big business, you want to ship loads to vessels to go through the Suez Canal, you've got to pay more. So East Africa's exporters are head-scratching right now how to deal with that. Ethiopian Airlines is now being chosen as Nigeria's preferred bidder for the new national airline, Nigerian Air, that the government says it will float before the end of this year. Ethiopian Airlines has the technical expertise that Nigerian authorities says will be used to float a national airline many years after Nigerian Airways went out of the skies. Let's see how that go, everyone. Let's get to West Africa. Go got a lot of footprints. Nigeria's central bank interest rate meeting starts today. Two-day meeting as always. Most of the time, by the way. Tomorrow is the interest rate later in the afternoon. The central bank in Ghana has deferred its own interest rate decision this week because a new team from the International Monetary Fund in Washington are landing today in Accra to meet with the authorities of President Nana Akufo-Addo to discuss the latest loan facility that Ghana sorely needs from the IMF to save the cedi and the economy, with inflation running close to 40%. In one of West Africa's biggest economies. The head of the EFDB, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, says Nigeria needs help. Yes, it does, to curb the country's rising debts, which reached $103 billion at the end of June, the highest since Nigeria's independence in 1960. And Niger's Republic's Treasury says it's collected about 22 billion CFA franc from the Treasury bonds auction that it did last week, while Senegal saw 27% in its budget deficit, which widened in the first half, January to June this year. And Bank has listed its shares on BeefMark. BeefMark is the common central securities exchange based in Douala, Cameroon, for 8 countries within Central Africa using the CFA franc. And Bank says it's now listed on that particular exchange, and we say congratulations for opening the market and becoming a listed commercial lender. So what's the big story in South Africa? Eskom, the problem with energy in South Africa is there. Electricity rationing is playing up there. The equity markets got a whole lot to deal with. JP Morgan, in the meantime, has appointed Njabulo Ngubane as the head of his mergers and acquisitions for Sub-Saharan Africa. She holding the office in South Africa. And DSTV in South Africa has cut its streaming prices for subscribers 13% to 18% lower than the satellite offering that it gives its customers. DSTV or MultiChoice has gotten an inflow of investment from Disney, and that is helping other operators that are helping DSTV to get a whole lot better in terms of streaming business rather than satellite broadcasting. And $100 million FG bond in Zimbabwe is set to hit the market in December for public infrastructure, while Malawi, August consumer prices came in about 25.5% year on year and grew 1.7% on a month-on-month basis. That's according to the latest data from the authorities in Malawi. Finally, East Africa. Let's get the North African markets, with Egypt holding rates at the weekend and raising cash reserve ratio from 14% to 18%. The IMF agreement, according to the finance minister with the President El-Sisi's administration, could take about 2 to 3 months to iron out. And Egypt is set to set up a carbon credit. That's the Egyptian exchange. It's setting up a carbon credit trading platform, which is going to be one of the best and the first on the African continent. And that will open the way for Egypt to join South Africa as one of the frontline economies on the continent, stepping into the whole energy transition. Egypt is hosting the COP27 Climate Change Summit for the first time on the African continent in November, and Egypt is doing all it can to be ready as a host for that particular event, which will take place in Sharm el-Sheikh. And Morocco's central bank will be raising interest rates on Tuesday. That's tomorrow, 27th, the same day Nigeria's central bank will be raising rates. At least 3 central banks on the continent will be deciding interest rates on Tuesday. Heliopolis Housing is listed on the Egyptian Stock Exchange and is targeting a half-year revenue July to December of about 328 Egyptian pounds, an investment of about 297 million Egyptian pounds in local currencies. And those are your business, economic, markets and investment headlines this Monday, the 26th of September. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.